the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time.
You might be a doctor, but I am.
I'm a doctor, but probably not the one who looks good.
Absolutely fantastic.
All of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will. Where do you want to start?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bigger on the Inside, the new Who Doctor Who Watch Along podcast. I'm Harry, joined as always via Zoom with Tim Saxby. How are you, Tim?
I'm not too bad, Harry. How the Charles Dickens are you?
How the Charles Dickens are me? I'm fairly good, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
got a lot of exciting news to talk about tonight.
Yeah. Are you talking about Doctor Who news, or are you talking about that other news?
All of it, really. I think there is some good Doctor Who news. There's some very recent Sea Devils news. There's and of course, for those who might have been listening the last couple of weeks, we've been sort of at the end of the Doctor Who news, maybe indulging in some non-Doctor Who news, and nothing screams non-Doctor Who like Will Smith's bitch slapping the crap out of Chris Rock on primetime TV in front of millions of people. Yeah,
we will definitely be talking about that in a bit. And I guess just our thoughts on it, the whole thing, because there's a lot to unpack there. That's very loaded. But let's start with some Doctor Who news. First of all, Hugh Grant.
Can I just double check? Can you? I'm not wearing any headphones this week, but I just want to double check that you can't hear yourself coming back through the speakers.
I definitely can't now.
Okay, we should be cool then. That's fine.
Yeah. So, first thing on our agenda, Hugh Grant is not the 14th Doctor.
But that's exactly what somebody who is the 14th Doctor would say.
No, he put in a tweet, and this doesn't sound like dispelling rumors. It doesn't sound like trying to avoid the conversation. He said, nothing against Dr. W, but I'm not. No idea where the story came from.
Maybe there's another show called Dr. W that we're just unaware of.
Dr. Watkins.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those rumors that when I heard it, I was like, that's really nice casting. It's a good rumor, but I think we all sort of knew it was BS.
I thought it was within the realms of possibility. I honestly did, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that it's not happening. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know, I would have believed it either way. But this seems like, because usually when we're more suspicious of people, they're usually like, oh, well, it would be great to, but I don't really know what's going on. There's always a bit of a, umming and ahhing type response. This is a very resolute, no, I'm not the Doctor.
So, yeah, but I always wonder, I was thinking about this a little while ago, right? The whole No Way Home stuff with Toby and Andrew. And Andrew was constantly like, I'm not in it, but you're going to watch the movie. I promise you I'm not in it. I haven't had a call, that sort of stuff. I sort of thought, why don't they just go, in that case, why didn't he just tell a really good lie and just go, look, Marvel approached me, we talked about it, but unfortunately we just couldn't make it work with scheduling the story, so it's not going to happen, but it was a possibility.
Well, I think then that would make that kind of thing would make people turn on Marvel, wouldn't it? It make people be like, I can't believe Marvel didn't make it work. Marvel, you should give them more money, yada, yada, yada. And Marvel don't want any kind of negative press, do they?
That's true, but then think how good it would be to then watch it and see it.
Yeah, but then there'd be people speculating that, in response to the backlash Marvel put him in or something like that, and they'd have to do a whole media circus of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that when No Way Home came out and people asked Andrew about it, that he'd be like, no, I'm not in it. It wasn't me. I'm definitely not in the movie. Just still deny it.
Imagine.
That comes out on Blu-ray soon.
Oh, yeah, hasn't it not already released? Because I've seen HD clips and stuff online.
Yeah, it's been released digitally, so you can get it on Amazon Prime.
Digitally, right.
Yeah, but the Blu-ray is a little bit off still, I think.
Yeah, and the Blu-rays will get all the behind-the-scenes stuff and deleted scenes, won't we?
I hope so, yeah. That's why I bought it.
Have you like pre-ordered it?
I have pre-ordered it. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Um. Yeah, it's a shame that it's not looking possible anymore, but it was a fun few hours while it lasted.
It was. Attention is back on Lydia West and Amari Douglas.
I didn't realise how vocal Hugh Grant was on Twitter. He's quite an avid tweeter.
Yeah, I would have put Hugh Grant down as a Twitter man.
Yeah. You usually find as well that whoever the doctor is, they tend not to have social media. None of the doctors have had social media when they've been the doctor, and most of them still don't have it now.
I think it's because I know Moffat said in that interview with Crystal D that he himself and he tells everyone involved in the show to just stay off social media.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not to mean they don't have their own personal ones. Like I know Andrew Garfield, he has a Twitter account.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not called Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, it's like an undercover one.
Yeah.
Maybe his like image is like I don't know, like an anime profile picture or something.
Maybe it's a picture of Andrew Garfield, but it's flipped. He's like, no one will know.
He's got like a heavy distortion effect on it.
Yeah, a Snapchat filter.
Maybe he's like called Garfield Fan 67 or something.
Yeah, possibly.
And it's a picture of Garfield, the cat.
What, the voice by Chris Pine or not voiced by Chris Pine?
Chris Pine's never voiced Garfield.
He's going to be voicing Garfield in the new Garfield movie.
Chris Pratt. It's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Pratt, the voice of everyone, including your mother. How do you feel if you went home and your mum like spoke to you and it was Chris Pratt's voice that came out?
Is it just Chris Pratt or is it one of his characters?
No, it's Chris Pratt voicing your mum. Chris Pratt is the voice of your mum.
Is he doing an impression of my mum?
No, like, well, you've heard Chris Pratt like voice animated characters before, right?
Yeah, they all sound the same.
It's Chris Pratt voicing your mum as if your mum is a character in an animated movie.
I don't think I'd be too happy about it. I'd get used to it.
I guess, yeah. We'd all have to adjust, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Any more news, Harry?
We've got a few, 3 promo images of the Sea Devils. Have you seen these?
Now, this is an audio-based production, Harry, so you're going to have to, in very good detail, describe these images.
Okay, the first one is of a sea devil, looking dark and green. He's looking quite angry, menacing. It's a much better image than the one they initially released. Because I believe these are going to be like CGI enhanced costumes, are they? Kind of like Baby Yoda or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but this looks good. I mean, obviously you can tell it's like a rubber mask, but it has an expression. It's expressive. It's got character. The actual outfit, the costume they're wearing is really cool. It's kind of green robe that's kind of mossy or got like algae on it. It comes together really well. I kind of like how the Sea Devils are looking. Yeah.
Cool. I'm just trying to have a look. I feel like I should probably look at these myself as well.
You probably should, Tim.
What other pictures are there?
The next one has a description of Crystal Yu as Madame Ching in the episode.
Okay, cool.
Crystal in the photo. It's a very nice looking set. It's kind of got all these red bits of netting and curtains and barrels, and she's wearing a very cool outfit. That
is a nice photo, that, yeah.
It's probably the most exciting photo I've seen from the episode so far. And then finally, we've got Jodie and Mandip. I can't tell if Mandip's in the barrel or she's just hiding behind the barrel.
I would say behind the barrel, just because you can see her fingers over the edge and Jodie resting on top of the barrel.
Well, I hope when this airs, Dan also pops his head out of the barrel.
No, I hope they do like the old Scooby-Doo thing where it's like they show 3 vases and then like they appear from something else.
Okay. That'd be funny.
So like they show 3 barrels on the screen and you just hear them going, "Is it safe to come out now? Oh yeah, doctor, is it safe? Oh, I'll have a look." And then like a door opens and they just walk out from the side of the screen.
That would be really funny. I also really like the outfit that Jodie's wearing. I don't know how to describe it, but like the colors of it and the design of it, it's really neat.
It looks like David Tennant's tie.
Has she got a tie on?
But it
Oh, you're
looks like
saying
David
the
Tennant's
outfit.
10th Doctor's tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's some kind of like historical period clothing.
Yeah, we've
Um,
spoken about it before, but it does escape me. But yeah.
yeah, but I really like it. It's a really cool look. And I'm surprised that we've not really had Jodie experiment a ton outside of, the odd rainbow scarf or different colored t-shirt with her outfit as a doctor. So it's
That's
cool
true.
to
Yeah, like
see.
David, he had 2 suits. Chris had a couple of jumpers. Matt Smith
Yeah.
had a number of costume changes, but they were all vaguely similar. Whereas Jodie
Mm.
hasn't really. I think the color of
Yeah.
her t-shirts changed now and again,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
And in Spyfall Part 1, she had kind of like the tuxedo that she was in. But other than
Yeah, that's
that, not a
true.
ton. But yeah, these are good promo images. I think they don't make me, none of them like, because I was going to watch it anyway, none of them like win me over. I'm like, okay, now I have to see it. But
Yeah.
looking at them all, it's like, all right, cool. I'm vibing with this.
Yeah, that's true. But Harry, if you want to watch it, how do you know when to watch it?
Well, Doctor Who, our friends over at Doctor Who have announced fairly recently that the air date is in fact going to be Easter Sunday.
Cool. Do we have a time?
I'm just gonna check that now. I don't know if we've got that. No, we haven't. We
Okay, it's
just know
probably
that
about 7 p.m., I would have thought.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be before, some kind of other BBC program,
Yeah.
yeah. Or like they'll schedule it so it's not clashing with the Easter Bake Off, which I presume is a
Yeah,
thing
there
that'll
seems to
happen.
be a description as well.
I think it's a description we've had before, though.
In a
Do you want me to read it
swashbuckling
anyway?
adventure, the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan come face to face with the Doctor's oldest adversaries. Is that the right word? The Sea
Adversaries, yeah.
Devils. Why has legendary pirate queen Madame Ching come searching for the lost treasure? What terrifying forces lurk beneath the ocean of the 19th century? And did Yaz really have to dress the Doctor up as a pirate?
I'm guessing that, yes, she did.
Further transmission details will be announced in due course. Legend of Sea Devils is the second in a trio of specials aired in 2022. Jodie Whittaker's final feature special will transmit in autumn 2022 as part of the BBC's centenary celebrations.
Okay, cool. But I'm looking forward to this. I hope that it's just kind of like almost like a calm before the storm of the centenary. This is just like a light, fun, pacey, action-packed kind of adventure.
Yeah, so
Yeah. There is
Yeah,
something
that'd be nice.
evocative of kind of maybe not Tennant specials, but the kind of heroics that the 10th Doctor took part in. I can imagine this being very much in the vein of that.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything like Waters of Mars.
No, I don't think so either.
Moving on, Harold, what do we have next?
Next up, Karen Gillan has spoken about the possibility of her returning to Doctor Who.
Who?
Karen Gillan.
Never heard of her.
Oh, well, you see, way back in the olden days of 2010 to 2012, Karen Gillan was a companion on the show.
Good grief. Go on.
Oh God, I guess I'm gonna have to do an Edinburgh accent for this.
No,
Oh, she's
don't.
not. Okay.
Do Ringo
You don't want
Starr.
me okay. Never say never. If I was asked, I would be really, really interested and keen. It would be really amazing. I would like to do it with Matt Smith and Arthur Darvill. If I was gonna go back.
Yeah, cool. I mean, that's my only concern with that. Is that I feel like Day of the Doctor, one of its weaknesses was that David didn't return with a companion.
Yeah, like I always found it strange that Billie Piper was there, but she wasn't there as Rose.
Yeah. But then I feel like bringing Matt back with Karen and Arthur is slightly too much. But at the same time, I feel like if you're going to bring him back, you bring him back with Amy because that's one you want to see, really.
I would want to see Amy and Rory. And I'd rather see him and Rory overseeing Clara.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like Clara is Capaldi's companion more so, whereas Amy and Rory are kind of like with the companions for Matt.
I mean, you could have Arthur and Darville in it, but I feel like if you're going to have, say you have Matt, Karen, and Arthur with David and Billy, plus someone else and their companion, I feel like you could get a little bit too cramped.
Yeah, but I guess that would be a good way to kind of distinguish it from the 50th, because obviously the 50th, David just came back on his own, and John Hurt was by himself, and then Billie Piper was kind of doing her own separate thing. So I guess that would be a good way to distinguish it, being the companions are back as well. And then, it would be fun to see interactions between something like Karen Gillan and Billy, or Karen and Catherine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You could also like bring Amy back and she could start fighting with all the other doctors as well, right in front of Rory. That'd be real funny.
Okay, Tim.
Actually, I think it kind of would be, actually. It would be quite funny.
I feel like she'd probably just kind of make fun of all the other ones.
She'd probably just be like, I had a dream like this, or something like that. I don't know.
Didn't she make did they already make some kind of joke about that, where it was like two Amy's in that comic relief thing?
Oh, really?
Yeah. My fat already made that joke, Tim. He made it
Russell
before
can make it this
10
time.
years ago.
Yeah, cool, Harry. Anything else? Remember, this next one could be the video of the week.
Okay. The 13th Doctor is going to drown?
Cool. I guess. Cool. It's different.
Yeah. I mean, I'll read this rumor. There's a rumor the 13th Doctor, we know they're regenerating outdoors outside the TARDIS. Apparently, they're being said to regenerate in a body of water, which could mean the Doctor may drown, resulting in an underwater regeneration. Now, I feel like this is visually, I see why they would do this. It'd be a very different image. It could be very cool. And also, it means that if they regenerate underwater, then you can kind of get away with not showing the 14th Doctor because they'll be underwater. Yeah. You can almost like start whenever they reappear again, whether that's the 60th or the series 14, with just the Doctor, like, the new Doctor emerging from this body of water.
I think they should do it like what they were going to do with Seinfeld, which is just have one of them go, well, thank God that's over, or something like that.
Just like, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Or it just cuts to the 14th Doctor just sitting in the TARDIS with a towel around them. 14th.
Shaking, like just drying their hair.
I mean, it'd be funny. I don't think they'll do it, but it would be funny.
But you remember when David Tennant regenerated and they do that fake out regeneration in his last episode, don't they? Where you're like, oh, he's regenerated into Matt Smith. They stands up and it's still David Tennant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They could do that for the whole episode where they just show a load of close-ups of towels drying people's hair and it just reveals their face. You're like, oh, no, it's not the Doctor. It's just a different character.
That would be so... That would be fuck.
I thought the Doctor would die, though, if they were to drown.
So that was my thinking, because in Turn Left, the Doctor... in the alternate reality, the Doctor drowns, and you kind of hear someone saying they didn't have time. They drowned before they were able to regenerate. And my kind of understanding was that the Doctor kind of couldn't regenerate and still be dying. My understanding was the Doctor had to kind of be in a state where if they were to regenerate and rebuild themselves, they wouldn't be in peril, But I don't know, maybe I get slightly
water. Sorry, go on.
Pardon?
No, go on.
I finished what I was saying.
Oh, just because she's regenerated in water doesn't necessarily mean she's drowning, I guess.
Okay.
She could just be regenerating. She could have maybe fallen from a great height.
Okay, into a pool of water. All right.
Into water, and then, like Skyfall, the James Bond movie at the start of that, where he doesn't die. Yeah.
I thought he faked his death in Skyfall.
but like she could just be knocked. She could already be injured, and then is knocked into
So
the
it's
water,
not
and
the
then the
water that
regen.
kills her. It would just be
Yeah.
that's the image. Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I can imagine that.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm nervous, but I'm also looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm only nervous because we haven't had it before. I don't want them to mess it up.
Yeah, it's gonna be the first regeneration in our time doing podcast as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it will be. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, big time for us. Big views, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more news, Harry?
Yeah, do we want to move on to the that? So for context, at the time of recording, it's the 28th of March 2022, the morning, well, now it's the evening after the 2022
But it's the same
Academy
day,
Awards.
the same 24 hours.
Yeah, the same day, within less than 24 hours ago, Will Smith severely damaged his career, to put it lightly. I mean, there's a lot of things to unpack here. For the full context, I'm just going to get up to just a little bit of it text to me so I don't get any information wrong. About
shall I say what I believe is what I think's gone on?
Yeah.
Because I've been reading about it all day because it generally is. Okay, so I woke up this morning feeling fine. And I picked up my phone and I had 2 news updates from Sky News about the Oscars. And I picked up my phone to find out what Best Picture was, what had won Best Picture.
What did win?
I picked up my phone and it said, Will Smith stays tight-lipped at red carpet photos after slap. And I read that and I was like, oh, someone must have slapped Will Smith on the red carpet or something like that. You know, like maybe a protester got in or something like that. And then the one below that said, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And obviously, because it was the news and it was headline news and it was worth notification on my phone, I knew straight away that this was not a stunt or a Sacha Baron Cohen Borat thing where something funny happens or that some shit had gone on.
I've heard some people speculate that it was like staged or something, but I don't see how this could be staged because it doesn't do favors for either of the parties involved.
No.
For one.
So, for context, what I believe has happened is that Jada is suffering from alopecia, which she came public with in 2018. Okay,
that's correct.
For those who don't know, that basically means you can either lose all your hair or some of your hair. And I believe with Jada, she has lost some of her hair, but has then chosen to have a very short haircut, almost a buzz cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Chris Rock comes onto stage at the Oscars to present an award, and he comes on and he does what Chris Rock does, what he is clearly hired to do, which is tell jokes. And I think the one thing that everybody knows about Chris Rock is that he is a comedian who will poke fun at you and is almost a Ricky Gervais type. He's close to the line. He will say controversial things, but not controversial like Jimmy Carr. He's not an offensive comedian, but he just says things that are a bit in the ballpark in between almost. Would you agree?
I don't know. I feel like this joke, because obviously this is, a condition that she suffers from. I feel like this very much walks the line. I feel personally that it crossed the line. I feel like it was in poor taste, the joke, and I feel that I feel like it was in poor taste, and I feel like he was misguided in making the joke.
Okay, so
I do not, however, by any means, pardon?
Sorry, we haven't explained what the joke is.
Yes.
So the joke is that he came on and he said that he was looking forward to seeing Jada star in the sequel to G.I. Jane, which features a female-led character with a shaved head.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I think it gets really interesting from here on in, because what you see on TV is it cuts to Will and Jada.
And Will
And then it cuts back to Chris Rock, and what you kind of see the first time you watch it is you see Chris Rock come on stage. So you see Will Smith walk up on stage, and Chris Rock's like, "Yo, here he comes. What's he gonna say?" And Chris Rock sort of leans towards Will Smith. Will Smith stops and, like, in a heartbeat, smacks the shit out of Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe, I've not seen it, but I've heard there's some kind of phone footage that with the camera staying on Will and Jada, where apparently, obviously, we saw in the TV footage that Jada looks uncomfortable. Apparently, when it cut away, Jada whispered something to Will, and that, whatever that was, instigated Will to suddenly have to change of tune and get up and walk.
Yeah, so this is what I want to talk about, because this is what I find most interesting, is that Will then storms off the stage and he sits back in his chair, and if you've got kids or this is around kids, whatever, maybe turn it down, but he says, "Get my wife's name out your fucking mouth," and he says it, and then he screams it.
Yeah.
And like, when he hits Chris Rock, there's a bit of laughter in the audience. People don't really know what's going on.
I think there's people who did think it was staged. I was speaking to people today who were kind of uncertain about it, just because I think because of like the camera footage is kind of the angle makes it look like it could be staged, but I have no reason to believe that's the case. This seems totally legit to me. But I don't know what your take is, but my take on the whole thing is I think Chris Rock crossed a boundary that he shouldn't have crossed. However, at the same time, I do not condone Will's actions at all. I think that violent, unprovoked, it was provoked, I suppose, but that was violence against another human being is not something I can ever condone. I think it's just a poor display of the elite in Hollywood and how they feel it is appropriate to talk and behave, and it's just a shambles.
So 15.4 million people watched the Oscars last night in America live. I just want to talk about what I think happened. So I agree with you that when he does the joke and it cuts to Will and Jada, Will is laughing, but Jada rolls her eyes. She's not impressed with that shot, with that gag. But then it cuts back to Chris, and within, I think it's like 30 seconds, if not less, that's when the altercation happens. So I agree with you. I think Jada says something to Will, which then is an instant change of character for him to go and do that, because that's very un-Will Smith.
I don't really know. I'm not particularly abreast with kind of the kind of personal lifestyles of Hollywood celebrities, so I can't really comment on what isn't in their nature. So I can't really.
Well, I think when you look back at like their Jada and Will's past, because I was reading about it, like they sort of had and didn't have an open relationship. There was rumors that they were having an open relationship around 2013, to which Jada took to social media to say that me and Will have been, they don't call themselves husband and wife, they call themselves life partners. But we're old enough and we're wise enough to do whatever we want, and we're sensible enough to do whatever we want, which I kind of think does kind of indicate that they were, at least in 2013, in an open relationship. And then it was revealed in 2019 that they had briefly separated, which is where Jada Smith had a relationship with a guy called August. He was like a rapper. I think he's 29. So significantly younger than Will. And that's where that very famous image of Will Smith getting very teary comes from, where they did that Red Table Talk, which is Jada's own sort of talk show, and Will was on it, and they spoke about their relationship and the fact that she had sort of cheated on Will. So all that sort of stuff came out, and Will has since been on Facebook to say that he and his wife are married, they're not divorced. So I think there was like some confusion within the air. So it's one of those relationships where people in the public, myself and a lot of other people, I think they feel very protective over Will Smith because I think a lot of people think that he is being, I don't want to say taken for granted or made a mug of, but like he's, I'll say it because this is only, I'm just repeating what I've read online, is that I hear a lot of people say that Will Smith is in what they believe to be a toxic relationship. Obviously, we don't know this because I don't fucking know shit. We can only go from what we see. But a lot of people are saying that Will Smith is damaged and, you know, his wife or, you know, his life partner, Jada, is taking advantage of him and stuff like that, which would then link into the whole thing, like you mentioned, like she leans over, whispers something, which then provokes his reaction to then smack Chris Ross in front of 15 million people. But what I particularly found strange was not only the fact it got aired because there is a delay and it could have been cut, but also the fact that he then went on to win Best Actor.
Well, obviously the winners are decided before the event. The Academy will already decided who was going to win that award. Well, I mean, I feel like, you know, perhaps Will shouldn't have still been at the event. You know, I feel like if
that was a member of the public, if a cameraman
in a public place that wasn't an award show attacked someone else, they'd be kicked out. Maybe the police would be involved. You know, like at the very least, they'd be kicked off the premises.
But like, even if that was a cameraman, if a cameraman had stood up and smacked Chris Rock, the cameraman would have been kicked out and lost his job and be on his ass. I don't understand why it's acceptable for that to. It doesn't make any sense because
it's Academy Award nominee Will Smith. That's why, because it's an us and them Hollywood elite thing, you know.
Do you think he should give back or be forced to give back his Oscar?
I don't know a ton about, because I know there is a history of actors who have either given back or refused to accept awards. I certainly don't think the award should be given to a different nominee, because I feel like you're very much muddying the waters and overcomplicating things if you cross the line between public behavior and like acting performances and stuff. I feel like those two discussions should be kept separate. You know, separate artist from the art, all of that. I feel like there needs to be some sort of statement / apology from both parties. You know, saying along the lines of, you know, this XYZ behavior was incorrect. It was out of line as for behavior in this way to have happened. And I feel like in this situation, it would be, I don't think it would be inappropriate at all for the award to be given back. I feel like the Academy, for one, definitely needs to say something saying we don't condone this behavior, and the fact nothing's done about it at the event is a misstep on our part, because the Academy
would you like me to read
should have acted on that. Has the Academy released a statement?
Would you like me to read the tweet that they published regarding the strike?
I'm glad to hear that they have made a statement. I don't know what the statement is, but yeah.
Okay, this is it. You ready?
Yeah.
The Academy does not condone violence of any form, full stop. Next line. This is the same tweet. Next line. Tonight we are delighted to celebrate the 94th Academy Award winners who deserve this moment of recognition from their peers and movie lovers around the world.
Yeah, I feel like that's a huge misstep.
Yeah.
That's a huge misstep. They need to take more ownership of how the fact that happened. Like you said, like Will Smith went to the red carpet event afterwards. After he was that, and the vanity.
He went to the red carpet event afterwards and posed with his family. If you watch that footage, it is awkward as shit. Like Jada and Will are just like,
that shouldn't have happened. The fact that they just allowed Will Smith to continue attending an event as normal shouldn't have happened.
And then he went to the Vanity Fair awards afterwards, and there is footage of him dancing, partying with the Oscar. Everyone's filming him and he's singing along to getting jiggy with it. But it's just him. His family out there, though. It's just him.
I don't know. It's a mess. And part of me thinks like, I don't know. It's just like this whole, because I don't want to get like super caught up in tabloidy stuff and all of that. Like, obviously, you know, I'm an artist, I'm an actor working in this industry. So this stuff is to some degree important to me. So I guess the thing that's the most important to me within this whole thing is the fact that it needs to be acknowledged that kind of behavior, no matter who you are, no matter what your status is, or how famous you are, or how many awards you've won, that kind of behavior should not be allowed to happen and should not go without some kind of consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing I'm most concerned about. I'm most concerned about the fact that so far, you know, there's not been charges pressed. There's not been any kind of sanction or anything placed on Will Smith for his behavior. I don't know if it would be like in Chris Rock's hands to press charges or something like that. Maybe.
Well, Chris Rock was asked
necessary
by the police if he wanted to press charges, and he said no.
He didn't. Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I wonder though if he wasn't a comedian, say like if he was the boom operator or something like that, if he still would have said no.
Well, remember like the whole Jeremy Clarkson stuff with Top Gear? Didn't he assault?
Well, this is exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got. It was who was it? It was a caterer or something, and he just
was I want to say producer.
Yeah, and that happened, and he got fired, and rightfully so. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a mess. Ugh. It's very disappointing to see that the most people who are the most celebrated figures in Hollywood behave in these ways. It's just disappointing. Yeah.
What's really bugged me most about it is I see online, and I get it, and I totally support it, is a lot of people saying, if I heard anybody saying that about my wife, I would have acted the same way. And I get it, right? If I heard anybody saying anything like that publicly about my girlfriend, and I'm sure you would be the same, Harry, you'd want to react. But the difference is... Wait, no, let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah. The difference is you might have the urge to want to do it, but it's whether you are the bigger person and do it or not. And the bigger person would not do that.
Yeah.
I feel like Will Smith is a role model to so many kids
100%.
Who will look up, and you cannot do that. You cannot condone violence. The fact that he has said nothing about this, apart from his poor acceptance speech, where I'll be completely honest, that was his best acting performance I've ever fucking seen, is unbelievable. The fact that it's been the Oscars started in the UK at 1 a.m. and I think they finished around 5 a.m. and I think this was towards the end of the night. So this is over 12, 13, 14, about 16 hours have passed. And it's been nothing.
I don't know.
I just feel like I just think it's like, I'm not the biggest fan of Will Smith anyway. I've got my own issues with Will Smith, but like, I just think it's really crappy.
It's bad form. Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to Doctor Who, the episode of this week?
Yeah, go on then, Harry.
It's the James Corden one.
The James Corden one, is that what we call it? Who's it by, Harry?
Yes, I'm calling it the James Corden one, because that's what everyone calls it. Everyone calls it the James Corden one.
That's true, they do. We'll join you right back after these jingles.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut it down, pop up!
point in having you all?
Harry, it's the watch along.
Correct, Tim.
What
Is the
episode are we
watch-along.
doing?
The James Corden one.
By who?
Gareth Roberts.
Is Gareth Roberts the guy who? This is his last episode, right?
No,
Okay.
because he writes the next James Corden one and the Caretaker one with Pete Capaldi.
All right, okay. As always, whenever we do a Gareth Roberts episode, obviously we don't condone anything he's done. I just want to apologize as well, there, Harry. I noticed you must have deliberately have not said his name.
I try to not talk
Sorry,
about
I didn't.
sensitive
I just didn't
subjects.
register who had wrote this episode beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like you said, we try to when we talk about, we're talking about the episode. We're on the episode and the writing separate from Gareth Roberts, the person, and things they've done and said outside Doctor Who.
exactly right. So, Harry, what were your thoughts on the James Corden one?
It's there were things I liked about it. I thought that the 11th Doctor's characterization was really good. I really enjoyed that in this episode. James Corden, he does a really good job. James Corden, as much as we can joke about James Corden, he's a good actor and he puts in a good performance.
He does. I wasn't annoyed to see him.
You sound well. This is before James Corden became the subject of carpool karaoke and people making lots of jokes, specifically, especially in the UK. Is this post Calvin and Stacey, but kind of pre One Man Two Governors James Corden? Yeah,
But I believe so. Yeah.
yeah. So this is right before James Corden started making splashes in America.
Yeah.
After he was kind of a pretty beloved at this point. Gillan and Stacey, the Smithy comic relief specials. As far as the UK was concerned, this is kind of peak James Corden time.
Yeah.
And sure, why not have James Corden guest star in Doctor Who?
Did you? So I didn't really mind him in this. It was kind of nice.
I thought James Corden. I say this always, I think James Corden's a great writer. Gillan Stacey's really well written. I think he's a great actor. He is a triple threat. James Corden's a very talented guy. And sometimes you need to remind yourself of that, And this kind of did remind me. I've had issues with the character. I just find it's a bit funny that basically James Corden's character, I can't remember his name, he's just living his life. The Doctor comes in and does everything better than him, and he gets annoyed about it. And then it's resolved by the Doctor headbutting information into his head twice.
Explain the Doctor Who episode badly.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by how much I liked this one, to be honest. I really like what you said at the top. I'll echo it. I think the characterization of the 11th Doctor is very good.
Yeah, I think it's potentially the best we've had this series.
Yeah, I think what I really like about this episode is they give Matt a lot of just mumbling and rambling to himself.
Yeah. Although I think one thing that really stuck out to me is there were so many moments, I think more than any other episode so far this series, where I was thinking like David Tennant couldn't do this.
Yes. I've literally got that as a note. I wrote, this is such a Matt Smith episode.
Yeah. So just seeing him because David Tennant, he's a bit too normal and down to earth and grounded. Like he could pretty easily live as a normal person lodging with someone without raising too much suspicion. Whereas the 11th Doctor is just such an oddball alien weirdo, and that's really brought to the forefront here. And I really like it. It's very endearing.
One thing that I really thought about with this episode is that could you get away with doing a full series like this? Say like it's a TARDIS, like John Pertwee, like he didn't have the TARDIS for a little while.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be a fun way to introduce a companion. It's like, well, instead of the companion moving in with the Doctor, how about the Doctor moves in with the companion?
I don't know. I'd be up for like maybe like 3 episodes of that in an almost kind of
Yeah.
sitcom style, but
Yeah.
Only Fools and Doctors. But I don't know if I'd want a whole series. But I guess that's why, in episodes like The Caretaker and the next James Corden one, is essentially the same concept of the Doctor just kind of lies low, semi-undercover as a regular human being, and hilarity ensues.
that is the TV, that is the Radio Times description of every sitcom ever.
Yeah, hilarity ensues.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else you particularly enjoyed about this episode, Harry?
I think it was a fun little nod to the fact that Matt Smith, before acting, planned to be a footballer. In fact, it's just a whole scene of him being really good at football.
What about Amy? She doesn't get much play.
No, it's almost a companion light.
This was a note I had. We haven't had a Dr. Light episode.
No, I don't know if the Moffat era really does have Dr. Light episodes, because the Doctor's so much more of kind of the Doctor's more the central figure than the companions. So it makes more sense to have companion light episodes than Doctor Light episodes. Like stuff like Father's Day, Turn Left, those make sense to focus on the companion, because really the companion is the surrogate character. The companion is really the protagonist for the Moffat. No, I mean the Russell T Davies era. Whereas here, the Moffat era, the Doctor is the central figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the reason they used to do Dr. Light episodes was just because of the actors' filming schedules. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they changed around to make that possible.
Yeah, because it's the same episode order, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe it's just a thing that maybe because Matt Smith was more of an up and comer. Maybe he had less commitments, or maybe the salary. Maybe the production budget went up, and so they could pay the actors more, so they were able to or maybe this production schedule is longer, so there's no longer need to work around that, and they can just shoot the episodes.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. What did you think to the ending though, where Amy finds the ring, Harry?
That was a good cliffhanger. To be fair, I think that was a very strong. The second half of this series is strong. I have to say, it almost makes me want to watch Series 6. Almost. We're not going to do it.
We're not going to do it. We'll probably will eventually.
Eventually, but I think we need a good long break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe when the centenary comes around, we watch The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Okay. Why do you think that? Because just to bookend it.
Yeah, just like a nice sort of like, we're doing a watch song again, but it's not the same, and but we're just kind of watching it.
Sporadic episodes. Watch things that are relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
I could do that. Yeah.
Good, you have no say in the matter.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're the boss.
I am the boss. Don't you forget it.
Like a boss.
Like a bitch, I'm a boss, and I shout like Klaus.
What the hell was that?
It's like that J-Lo song.
I only know the Lonely Island song, Like a Boss.
I don't find them funny.
I really like Lonely Island. I'm not a huge fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't find Brooklyn Nine-Nine very funny. But Andy Samberg, especially Lonely Island, I think is very funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't find...
You don't find SNL funny, do you, Tim?
I find some of the stuff on SNL funny.
Well, it's always been like... SNL has always been hit or miss.
Yeah?
Yeah. I know there's plenty of 70s and 80s sketches that don't hold up, you know? We just remember the good ones.
Harold, anything else you want to say about the episode?
I can't think of much. I think it's a bit of a corny resolution, but it kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they kind of lean into it much more of the follow-up, where it's just like, I blew them up with love. And it's basically the same. They're basically blowing it up with love.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just kind of works with the tone they're going for. I don't know. I like this episode more than I was expecting. Like I said, I probably went in expecting to be a little bit irritated by James Corden, because just predominantly in my mind, my image of James Corden right now is Late Late Show, Cowboy Karaoke, Peter Rabbit, terrible casting choice. But it was good.
Who do you think?
Maybe we want to watch
Peter
Gavin
Rabbit,
and
then?
Stacey. How would you feel if James Corden wrote an episode of Doctor Who?
I don't know, because like all his writing I've ever seen has been with Ruth Jones.
Not the comic relief stuff. I think James did that by himself.
What the Smithy stuff?
Yeah, I think the Smithy stuff was just James.
Well, that's quite funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really seen enough of his work to sort of be able to sort of say.
Is it true that
What about
James
you?
Corden and Matt Smith are like good friends in real life now, off the back of these episodes?
Yeah, I think they became good friends after this. Yeah, because there's like a funny behind the scenes thing where like they're in a trailer messing around, being daft and stuff.
Ah, that's nice.
Being a couple of boys, a couple of silly boys.
Just lads being boys watching the footy.
Then they have a toy Dalek and they're going. Dun, 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 dun.
That's cute. Yeah, I like Matt Smith as a guy. I don't know if I've said it yet, but Matt Smith seems like just like a really chill, cool person.
Same, yeah. I feel like I don't know if I'd like to go to the pub with Matt Smith, because I feel like he'd be too chill.
What do you mean? Is it like too cool for school? Not in
Yeah, I feel like he wouldn't like my local. I would have to go to like some kind of classy pub. Not classy pub, but maybe.
I don't think. I feel like he can, have a good old piss up down at local.
I feel like he'd rather go to like an underground bar where there's local bands playing.
I guess, because he's in his 30s now, isn't he? So I guess that's more scene. His session days are over.
Alexa, how old is Matt Smith?
Maisie Smith is 20 years old. Did that answer your question?
No, Alexa. Alexa, how old is Matt Smith? Alexa, how old is Matt Smith from Doctor Who?
Matt Smith is 39 years old.
Whoa!
39?
Yeah.
Do you know I was that old already? Thanks, Alexa.
Thank you.
So, what's it time for now, Tim?
Time for the quiz!
You, not me. I hate being patient. Patience is for wimps.
Hey, I called it.
First time ever.
Yeah. I've only
two questions here, Harry. Only two questions.
Oh, God. Matt's tie is blue.
That's not one of the questions, but well done. Where does the 11th Doctor claim he learned to cook good omelettes?
Oh, was it Paris in the 17th century?
Paris in the 18th century, Harry.
Ah! So close.
Dickhead.
But he flip-flops, didn't he? He flip-flopped between 18th and 17th.
All the way up to the 20th.
Yeah.
Harry, your last question is, James Corden's in this episode. He plays the main character. What's his name?
I don't know. What is it, like Clive or something?
Nope. I want first name and last name.
What is it?
Craig Owens.
Oh, Craig Owens. That's a good name. That's a very normal name.
It is, isn't it? I was thinking that.
Just a regular name. You don't raise an eyebrow at Craig Owens.
Craig Owens. Have you met Craig? Craig who? Craig Owens. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is nice. I like this episode.
Harry, do you want to go to the recommendations?
Before I go, I just want to tell you you were fantastic.
Oh, what have I got? Um, this is a recommendation with a caveat.
What's that mean?
If you're into horror and don't mind horror cliches and conventions, I think that the Disney Plus film Fresh is worth a watch.
Oh, cool. What's it about?
Um, it's about Daisy Edgar Jones is on the dating scene and she just can't find the right guy on those dating websites.
Tell me about it.
It's full of dicks, literally and metaphorically. And then she bumps into Sebastian Stan at the supermarket, who just seems like the perfect guy. And but Sebastian Stan, he's not all that he seems. Uh-oh. And I don't know
Pamela
if you don't know
Anderson.
any. If you don't, pardon.
He's dating Pamela Anderson, remember?
Actually, Pam and Tommy. I need to watch the rest of Pam and Tommy because I only watched the first 3 episodes when I started.
Yeah, you recommended it on the podcast.
I did. Yeah, I need to finish it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. If you've not seen the trailer, I think it's worth going in cold because I went in knowing what the premise was beyond that, and I feel like I'd have enjoyed it more if my expectations were subverted a bit.
Rightio.
There are a few kind of, I will say it is a horror film. It's not for the faint of heart where gore is concerned. It's not the worst. It's not like the worst thing I've seen. I think like stuff like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a more uncomfortable watch. And from what I've seen of Human Centipede, that's worse. I've not watched the whole film. I've only seen like still images because I think watching the whole film would legit make me throw up. But it's a fun time. It's a fun time.
Cool. Well done,
What's your
Harry.
recommendation, Tim?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Have you not watched anything worth recommending?
What have I watched this week? I haven't been to the cinema. I haven't been to the theatre. Have I watched anything new on telly? We're watching The Simpsons again. Stranger Things. I'm still watching that. Watched Peep's Show again. I'll tell you what I'll recommend.
What?
Charity shops.
Charity shops are good.
So I went to a charity shop. I'm currently shooting a short film, as you know, Harry, because you're in it. And I had to go to a charity shop to find some props. And while I was in there, I bought some DVDs, and my girlfriend bought like a full outfit. She's into all that vintage stuff. And she bought a full outfit for £6.
That's a stonking deal.
A top, trousers, accessory. I was like blown away. So there you go. That's what I recommended.
It's a good. I need to start charity shopping more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because it's a good way to find things.
It is.
You didn't
I
even
bought
know
a load of records for £1 each.
Ooh, what kind of records?
You'll have to wait and see because you're in the film.
Oh, are they for the film?
Yeah.
Does my character like records?
They're not for your character.
Oh, I get them for a different character. I see.
No, you don't buy them.
Oh, I don't. I just receive them.
No.
No, Tim, why don't you tell me anything? I don't know why Tim is being deliberate. He's being very. He said like the screenplay is like 90% done, and for some reason he doesn't have. He doesn't just give me the full context of anything. He only gives me very limited information if I request it. And outside of what he gives me in the screenplay, I just don't know what's going on in this movie.
Is it annoying?
It is annoying. Like because if I knew, I've understood the full context of the film, I'd be able to put in a better performance. The more I know, the better I can act.
But I feel like it kind of works to your character's advantage. That he doesn't really know what's going on.
Okay, so is this a very deliberate thing you're doing as a director?
Vaguely, I could probably. Okay, we've
You're
spoken
about this in your.
You're trying to get
essay?
information out of me by sort of changing it around. I know what you're doing.
I need to. I'm just trying to help myself. Help you.
Oh well, thank you, Harry. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so there we go. That's that episode over with.
Yeah. So
I feel like
we're
we'll
available
ruin it
on
for everybody.
YouTube. We're available on Spotify. We're on Acast, yes, but not iTunes. Have an
No, we're not on
Instagram.
iTunes.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer we're going to stay on Spotify for either.
Do you think we might become YouTube only? Of
Yeah,
course,
I feel like
Twitter, Instagram will stay up, of course.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, that's where you can find us.
So head over there and have fun.
This is bye-bye from Tim.
Bye-bye.
And this is bye-bye from me. Bye-bye.
That was like how the two Ronnies used to end their show.
Really? Never watched two
He
Ronnies.
used to say, it's good night from me, and then the other one would go, and it's good night from him. Good night.
Oh, that's sweet. I still recording.
Hello, I'm here as well. I've been here all along. Great brain.
Is that how we're ending it?
I was at the Oscars. Yeah, I was there.
I think we should end this.
Oh.
Make sure you subscribe to the official Big